Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever applies to you. I hope you're well and welcome to Big Foodie Geek. Now friends, I'll be honest with you, this week has been a big old pile of shit. I didn't get the job that I applied for and I really hoped I would get it. I really need it and I thought things had gone well and I didn't get it. So yeah, that was a bummer. And on top of everything else, I'm packing up to move out of this flat in a couple of weeks. I'm a bit sad about it. It's not in the circumstances that I would have wanted. There's boxes everywhere. Yeah, it's just a mess. Boxes here, there's boxes here, there's empty things over here. It's just generally a bad time. Packing's never fun, but never under crappy circumstances. So yeah, things aren't brilliant at the moment. So yeah, when things aren't going brilliantly, we can either do the responsible thing and face our problems head on, steel ourselves, and simply just power through. Or we can run away from our problems and get that dopamine hit from food that's very bad for us. So you can tell what I'm going to be doing today. Yeah, I thought, sod it, it's been a bad week, so I'm going to make something that's going to be extremely bad for me, but it should be a lot of fun. So what I'm going to be using is this. And what is this, you might be asking? Well, it's an Easter egg. As you can see from the back, it is an Easter egg. And you might be asking, Matthew, why on earth do you have an Easter egg? It's nearly freaking July, and that's a very good question. And the answer is, I actually bought this after Easter when Hotel Chocolat had reduced a bunch of their Easter eggs and stuff down to like half price. This is a very big and luxurious Easter egg. It comes in two halves. It's really thick chocolate. It's fantastic stuff. And usually it's about 35-40 quid for this much chocolate, but it was actually down in price from that to £15. So I thought, got to grab one of those and I will eat it or do something with it at a later date, and it is now a later date. So what I thought I would do with this is turn it into a cheesecake. Yes, an Easter egg cheesecake. That's what I'm going to be doing. So I am going to use those two halves of the egg. I'm going to fill it with biscuit and cheesecake, and I'm also going to try and use some mousse to actually make it look like an egg as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see how it turns out. Let's get started because I need some cheesecake. It's been a bad week. So before we go turning this into a cheesecake, let's have a quick look at it. So yeah, it's half 40% milk chocolate, half 50% milk chocolate. It's very high quality chocolate. They're just milk eggs. So this is the most basic of their eggs, but you can see from here, it is anything but basic when it comes to being an Easter egg. Let's get this out of its packaging. Comes in a very nice container, which I'm actually tempted to keep. And that is the egg itself. It's really weighty. It's really weighty. If we take these two halves, you can see the thickness of the egg that's wrapped in foil there already. And in here we should have various chocolates, which I'm not going to be using today. So I will put these to one side, but they will be for eating later. For now. I'm just going to take the foil off of this. There we go. That is the Hotel Chocolat Easter egg. It's got the Hotel Chocolat on the outside. And yeah, I'm going to be turning this into a cheesecake. So I'm going to put a little bit of a layer of biscuit in the bottom, then fill it with cheesecake, and then I'm going to create a mousse, which will hopefully give us like a yolk effect as well. So this should be a fun one. It is purely just to use this and just to make something nice in what's been a bad week. So first things first, I'm going to create a nice biscuity base just to go inside my cheesecake Easter egg. I probably won't need a lot of it because it's not a huge egg and I don't want to fill it too much up with biscuit. I want to have plenty of room for my filling, but it's got to have a bit of a biscuity base because quite frankly, I don't think you can call a cheesecake without a nice buttery biscuit base. So that's what I'm going to be making here. And I'm going to be using custard creams today because I felt like trying to do something different. Usually I'd use digestives or something like that. And I'm going to see if the custarding filling there adds a little something to that base. So I'm just going to use 100 grams of custard creams and 75 grams of unsalted butter. First of all, I need to get these into very fine crumbs. Usually I'd use a food processor, but because I'm packing stuff away, I'm going to pop them into a food bag and crush them with a rolling pin. Now chances are, because I'm working with limited space in the egg, I might end up with some leftover bits and pieces like biscuit or cheesecake and stuff like that. So if I do find myself with excess filling, then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it into a bowl and create like mini cheesecakes in here as well, depending on how much I've got left over. Right, I've got my heavy, juicy rolling pin here, solid marble, so this will do the job quite nicely. And I'm just going to start bashing it away at my custard creams. There you go, that has been turned into a nice biscuity crumb. Then to make sure this is all bound together, I'm just going to melt my butter in the microwave. That just took 30 seconds in the microwave on 10-second bursts. And I'm just going to add about half of that to start off with, just to make sure that gets combined through there. A little bit more. There you go, that looks about right to me. And now I'm going to take my 2 Easter egg halves. I'm just going to separate my biscuit base into these 2 halves. I'm just going to spread this out along the bottom, make sure it's all flattened out. Just getting with my hands, it's going to be easier that way. There we go, like I said, I don't want to take up too much space in there because I want to leave plenty of room for the cheesecake filling. So I'm going to pop these into the fridge and let them set up until basically the biscuity base has nicely set. Okay, my biscuity base has firmed up, so now I'm going to get on with making my filling. So I'm going to start off, well, for a cheesecake you need cream cheese. So I've got 600 grams of cream cheese here, full fat, don't want the low fat because it won't be any good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sift in 100 grams worth of icing sugar. You may have twigged by now that I'm not going to be making a baked cheesecake, I'm going to be using a no-bake cheesecake recipe, because if I try and bake this, well, the eggs will melt. I'm also going to add in about a teaspoon's worth of vanilla extract. Then I'm going to get in here with my mixer. I'm just going to whisk this all up until the icing sugar and the cream cheese is nicely combined and the cream cheese is nice and light and creamy. There we go, that's our cream cheese nicely combined. Then I'm going to need to whip up some double cream. So I've got 300 milliliters of double cream here. Then I want to whisk this up until it's nice, soft peaks. There we go, that is our whipped cream whipped until it's nice and stiff, but nice and soft as well, so that can come out of there. And then next I'm going to take my cream cheese back and I'm going to pop in my double cream into this bowl with it. I'm just going to mix that all together by folding it gently. There we go, that's all nicely combined. Now I've got my eggs out of the fridge, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my filling and just start popping that into there like so. And I'm just going to smooth this off. Let's try and clear up some of these edges. So that's one done. Now I'm going to do the other. Now these are going back into the fridge to have a good amount of time to set up, probably at least an hour, probably longer. Right, it's been nearly a couple of hours. The cheesecake portion of my Easter egg cheesecake has set. So now what I want to do is take some of this out and fill it in with like a mousse. It's going to be like a cheats mousse. I'm not using any egg whites or anything like that, so it's like an easy mousse. I'm basically going to be using white chocolate and cream to create a nice quick mousse, and then I'm going to be flavouring it with a little bit of orange extract and using a bit of orange colouring to turn it a yolky colour, so we can have that yolk part of our egg. Then I've got 100 grams of white chocolate here, which I'm then going to add 150 milliliters of double cream to. Then I'm taking this and I'm popping it over a pan of simmering water to let that melt down to turn it into like a white chocolate ganache. And while I'm doing that, coming back over here with some more double cream. And much like our cheesecake earlier, I've got 300 milliliters of double cream here, and I'm going to whisk this up to a pretty similar consistency to what we did with our cheesecake earlier. So nice, stiff, but soft, beautiful peaks of cream. There we go, that will do nicely. Get any of that off. I'm going to move this to one side and move back over to our chocolate and cream. Just make sure that this chocolate is melting into that cream. There we go, that has all combined together. So I'm going to leave that a few minutes to cool down a little bit off the heat. and then it can get combined into my double cream into like a easy mousse. Right, now that my white chocolate ganache mix thing has had some time to cool down, I'm going to pop half of it into here just to start off with. I'm making this up as I go along pretty much, so you know, I don't want to potentially use too much, make it too runny. Fold this into my double cream. It's looking a bit lumpy at the moment, but hopefully once it all gets folded in, it will look less lumpy. Quickly switch that to a whisk. Much better. And before I put in the rest of that mix, I'm going to put in probably what's going to amount to about a teaspoon's worth of orange extract, just because this is going to have like a yellowy orange colour. I just want the flavour to reflect it a little bit. Then in with the rest of our white chocolatey mixture. And then with that mixed in, I'm going to give it a good squeeze of this orange food colouring. And see how we get on. We're going to need a much more generous squeeze than that. Probably even more than that. Right, I have a slight problem because I've added all that food colouring and it has done basically nothing. It's barely beige, let alone yellow or orange. So that food colouring was pants. Thanks for nothing, Dr. Ertke, or however you pronounce your name. So, because I'm making this up, I'm going to have to do this bit on the fly. I've had to look around my kitchen, bearing in mind I'm packing stuff up and I've not got much in the kitchen at the moment. I'm going to use a bit of turmeric. Yes, I know. It's very much a savoury flavour. It's a very powerful flavour, so I don't need much of it. But hopefully the colour should give me that kind of right sort of like yolky colour for this mixture. And I'm hoping because it's going into cream and white chocolate and stuff like that, it will offset this flavour basically. Teaspoon here, but I'm not going to put it all in at once. I'm going to do a little bit. Let's see what this does. Need some more. There we go. Between the food colouring and the turmeric, we've got something that's a bit more yellow. It's not super yellow, not as yellow as I'd hoped it would be. It's more like horrible battery hen yellow rather than nice free range yellow, but it is what it is. We'll take it. Just gonna have a quick taste because quite frankly, I want to check it's not too turmeric-y. No, it's not. It's more orangey. It's got a bit of a slight turmeric aftertaste, but it's not horrible. It gives it a bit of, I don't want to use the word, but depth. It's quite nice actually. So now I've made the mixture that's going to become my yolk. I need to scoop out some of the white, so I've got room for it. So I've got a ice cream scoop here. So I'm just going to go into my set. Sorry, I thought I had like a hair or something on there. I do not. So I'm just going to go into my set cheesecake and just create like a little bit of a scoop there. Well, that wasn't as nice as I'd hoped. I'll pop a bit of that back in there. And I'm going to go in this one as well. Hopefully do this a bit neater than the other one. A little bit neater. Then what I want to do is take some of my yolk mixture, just fill in the hole that I've created, using a tablespoon here so I can be a bit more accurate. Not as neat, but it will do. So what I'm going to do now is pop these back into the fridge and give this centre bit some time to set up. What I'm hoping is it'll be a little bit softer and runnier than the other bit because it'd be nice to have a runny yolk. But we shall see. These are going back into the fridge and we'll come back and see how they set up. There we go, after roughly a couple of hours. I say roughly because I'll be honest, I ended up having a bit of a nap. I was pretty tired, so this has had an indeterminate amount of time because I fell asleep. But I'm sure it is roughly a couple of hours, and the point is, I'm trying to make is that this middle has set. Hooray! So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cut through one of these to see how it looks. This might be a little bit runny, but to be honest, I won't mind it because it will give us a nice effect, but it also might be set right through. So I'm going to need one of my biggest, sharpest knives to see if I can get through all this chocolate and cheesecake and mousse and biscuit and stuff. So let's see if I can get through this. Ooh. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh, it is a little bit runny. That's all good though. That actually kind of works. Oh, look at that. That has kind of turned into like a runny egg type thing. And we got some biscuit here, cheesecake, mousse, and chocolate. But that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do is now taste it. And to be honest, I just tasted the bit of mousse that got onto my hand, and it tastes very nice indeed. Even with that turmeric in there. In fact, that might even help it. Okay, I've got the bit that I savagely cut through, and it is going to probably drip off there, but you can see that runny mousse, that cheesecake, that biscuit, and the chocolate popping bit that's broken off. So I'm going to give this a try now. Let's try and get in from this angle where I can get a bit of chocolate, a bit of everything. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. That is tasty. That is really tasty. I mean, sorry, I finished my mouthful. Polite. Sorry, as I was saying, yes, that is really rather tasty. You've got the lovely cheesecake there. You've got that mousse, and the orange and the turmeric actually works really well together. It wasn't what I planned, but it came out very, very nicely. And the biscuit is lovely. Custard creams is a nice call, I should say, even if I do say so myself. And it's wrapped in chocolate. What do you want? It is a cheesecake, moussey, delicious, rich, sweet, just delicious. I said it already, but I'll say it again. Egg. It is good. Oh, that was good. Yeah, that came out really well. But I do hope you enjoyed that. Something a little bit different, a little bit fun, a little bit creative to cut through generally what was a bad week. A bad week for me and a bad week in the world in general. So yeah, I hope this has made your week a little bit better. I know it's made mine a little bit better, and I'm going to go and finish that, probably crash into a sugar coma and have another nap. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time on Big Foodie Geek. Take care. Bye bye. Otherwise, you can make that whole thing without using the Easter egg, or use something else. Wrap it in, I don't know. I had absolutely no idea where I was going with that. Hooray for me. But I do hope you enjoyed that. Just something a little bit different, a little bit fun, something creative to... But I do hope you enjoyed that. Something a little bit different, a little bit fun, something creative to cut through a terrible week in general. Terrible for me and terrible in the world. Oh God, I can't, you know, you got like another sentence or two to say.